All right, I call this one Great Artist Steal, Pop Locking, and Complete Self-Possession featuring David Byrne. This is Otis 5D Reacts.
Otis 5D Reacts.
All right, David Byrne. You know, I just came across this video of him rehearsing for his documentary Stop Making Sense, which I think is indubitably, undoubtedly the greatest concert documentary of all time. If I'm not mistaken, directed by Jonathan Demme, who, went on, I'm thinking of Brian De Palma. I was about to say Scarface. Anyway, Jonathan Demme went on to be one of the great film directors of all time. So what I see here is, so he was connected. He may have even been dating at this time Tony Basil, who's one of the great artists of the 20th century, and was a co-founder, as far as I remember, of the Lockers, the Campbell Lockers, who were the first, world famous street dance group in the early to mid 70s with the dance locking. And anyway, David Byrne in the Talking Heads song Cross-Eyed and Painless, he was the first to feature pop locking in his music video with my teacher and legend, world famous popper Poppin' Pete of the Electric Boogaloos. And I see so much of, like, that looks a bit like a boogaloo hop right there to some extent. That looks a little bit like a scarecrow puppet toy man style. That has like a kind of, this one has a kind of hula hoop thing, but Poppin' Pete does this move called crazy legs. And if you look at the way here that David Byrne is kind of up on his toes wiggling, I can see a bit of influence from crazy legs. That has a little bit of, a creeping, popping thing that looks a bit like a boogaloo roll old man. That looks more like, his style of his like crazy style. So I just find this so amazing as as somebody who has studied and trained in pop locking for 23 years now. And because if I had to do it all over again, I think to some extent I would copy David Byrne more than what I have done up until now. And obviously it's never too late, right? It's absolutely never too late. But what I see in him is that he's not trying to be like, I'm a popper, right? He has his own self-possession, his own vision for who he is and what he's trying to be. But he recognizes the greatness of this art form and of these dancers, and he's inspired by it, and he emulates it in a way that is authentic to him. No one would ever necessarily think that he's going to enter a popping contest and win it. But it turns out that like his thing, what is it? It's artistry, it's uniqueness, it's true to himselfness combined with the music. Because that's the other thing. He's not even like claiming to be a dancer. He is an artist, musician artist who is incorporating dance and movement into his performance. And so, it really shows me this idea of great artists stealing, because he is clearly stealing from, pop locking, but he's doing it in a way not like there's a whole controversy in the street dance community about Michael Jackson, because it's like he learned from Bruno Falcone, Poppin' Taco, and Michael Chambers, Boogaloo Shrimp, and Jeffrey Daniels from Shalimar with the backslide and so on. And, there not so much anymore, but for a long time there was a lot of controversy that like Michael Jackson was like this thief, especially with Bruno Falcone, Poppin' Taco, rest in peace, that he basically like stole his style, or paid Taco to like teach him his style, and then he took it and like passed it off as his own, and became the most famous artist in the world. And that's a little bit different. Because the thing is that you would never look at David Byrne and think anything other than like kind of weird, eccentric, corny, wacky white guy, artist guy. And it's very different. And I'm not here to like talk shit about Michael Jackson at all. But what I'm saying is that Michael Jackson really studied, to his great credit. I mean, Michael Jackson is just it's so crazy what a good dancer is. I mean, it's like, say something people don't know, Otis, like, come on. But David Byrne, I think in many ways is not a great dancer, but he is, right? That's what's interesting, is that like, his posture's pretty good. His rhythm of moving, it's all good. It's all very interesting and unique and compelling. And it would be very difficult, I think, for anyone but him to do this. But it requires, like, I haven't had this much confidence in myself to move in a way that is natural to me and just claim it. I have been emulating other people, not in a great artist steal way, but in a, good artist copy way. I've been trying to copy people rather than be inspired by what's inside of them and let come forth what is naturally inside of me. And, so just coming across this was incredibly inspiring because, I'm right on the verge now at the time of this recording of starting to, in addition to releasing these reaction videos, be releasing regular art pieces, crypto art pieces involving me dancing as part of the, the video animation montage. And I've never really considered dancing, like me, as opposed to like, hi, I'm doing the robot, I'm Otis and I do the robot, and I'm another, and this is called an arm wave, and like, I'm doing an arm wave. I've never thought of just letting myself move and doing that and recording that and putting that out, because I've considered that like not good. But the more I come into myself and realize, pause, and really become an artist unto myself, not somebody trying to do a pre-existing thing, and have the, the confidence to claim that and to be mocked and heckled and, dismissed, and be totally fine with that, because that's not my audience. Actually, you know what? I did an interview. Let's end this one like this. I did an interview with a guy who's a pretty extremely famous street dancer named Poppin' John. It's one of my favorite. I used to have a podcast where I interviewed street dancers. It was very popular in the street dance community. And one of my favorite ones that I ever did was with this guy, Poppin' John. And he said that what really changed things for him, he went to kind of like a different stratosphere than most of the other dancers in our street dance community. And he said he stopped dancing for other dancers and he started dancing for his fans. And I took that in at the time, but I really had no idea how to apply it, because at the time what I really wanted and craved was the respect of the street dance community. This may have something to do with my insecurity around being like a white guy in hip hop culture, and and so on, and wanting to, I don't know, like not be a cultural appropriator, and yada blah blah. But now seeing this, seeing old David Byrne, let's just keep this thing going till the end. it shows me that, like, oh, I think that there is an audience out there of kind of like avant-garde art people who would really enjoy seeing me dancing as myself, not as me attempting to do some style of dance. And that's very, I don't know, what is the word I want to use? That is very auspicious. That is very auspicious. It's taken me so many decades to arrive at this point, to have some sense of who I am and some semblance of confidence to actually be who I am. You know, consequences be damned, famous last words, knock on wood. That, you know, I just love the fact that David Byrne figured all this out at such a young age is just, and then he got Trump derangement syndrome. This is Otis 5D Reacts.
Otis5D.xyz.
Go fuck yourself.